When retro games stop working, do you think consoles like Retron 5 and emulation will be how we retro in the future? I don't think we have a whole lot to worry about right now with cartridge-based games. As a matter of fact, we touched on game preservation during one of our panels at MagFest, and we covered this topic pretty intensively. I think there's a lot more that needs to be worried about, actually, with modern games, especially ones that came before the digital download era. I think what we need to be more concerned about is having copies of PlayStation 1 games that are archived, rarities on the Saturn, and that sort of thing.
And make sure the ROMs are available somewhere you can reburn at some point.
Right. We have ROMs. I mean, we have backups of all this, the cartridge-based stuff. The systems... The systems aren't going to... I'm reading into this a little bit different. There was two questions that were similar. The systems aren't going to really just break down and stop working. No. And Nintendo is almost infinitely repairable. You know, we're not going to find ourselves suddenly in a Mad Max style wasteland where Nintendos are trading for currency. I mean, they're solidly built.
Look at it this way: you look at this is a system that's almost 30 years old in Nintendo. What percentage that you come across are either not repairable or don't function? It's less than like 1% that you can't repair.
I find that I can repair more than 9 out of 10. I would call it 95% of them are truly repairable.
I've only come across a few in my day that were troublesome.
Yeah, I mean, I do it in a much larger fashion, but
it's well over 90%.
It's less than 10 a year, and you're right. I probably do hundreds of these a year.
So that said, you think about the percentage of maybe PS1s that don't work, and more than often not they work. And this is like PlayStation's 20 years later.
Right.
But as we said in the past, anything that has an optical drive is more likely to break. Yeah. Obviously. But that doesn't mean that they're all going to break. Even over 100 years, if you don't beat the hell out of your system, it should work in theory.
Right. But now, so here's the thing. I mean, this is not a bad question. It's just I need to flip this one on the head.
Sure.
It's not the retro stuff. It's the 360 was a horribly built system, and even though the Slimline was built better, those are going to break down. Sure. PS3s break down over time. These are things that are larger files, that are more locked down. These are games that in 15, 20 years' time, you're going to want to worry about making sure you have. All of the games that were released as digital-only titles on the Xbox 360 and the PS3,
they might be lost.
These great games. Now, sure, someone can probably crack these and send you a hard drive with the games, but it's going to be a lot different than it is now. Retro titles, I don't really think we have a ton to be concerned about. I don't think it's going to be an issue.
It's going to be those rare CD games that haven't been backed up to a ROM.
Right. The Retron 5 is going to break before your Nintendo breaks.
I was going to say that. Nintendo had huge manufacturing plants to put these out. Again, think about how many of those actually broke. People are already saying the Retron 5s are breaking or they send them back.
One of our 8 that we got shipped into our store when we got our order didn't work. Wouldn't even turn on.
So worry about your cheaper Hyperkin systems.
Yeah.
And what's the other company that put them out? Retrobit puts them out.
Yobo, Hyperkin, Retrobit.
Worry about those versus the old consoles, by and large.